fans of high quality entertainment. This video is about a band that I used to love for years and years and years. But in the comments section, I'd like you to talk about what you think of the band U2. But I also am curious if you were a big fan of a certain artist or band for years and years and years, and then suddenly there was like a cutoff point where you just totally kind of gave up on them. Because that's what happened to me and the band U2. We broke up. I'd known of the band U2, since 1980, but I never really listened to their music until I bought their album, The Unforgettable Fire, in 1984. Became a big fan, and I was a fan from 1984 to about 2014. So 30 years. And without going into too much details, because I did do a video 4 or 5 years ago called Goodbye U2, where I kind of explained why I gave up on them. But it was mainly the arrogance of them putting one of their albums on everybody's Apple devices, their phones or whatever. And that just, I don't know. There's just something about that when I still think about it, it's just kind of really bugs me. It's kind of like if, a band like Sparks that I've been a fan of for 50 years, if they did that, I would be so turned off by them. And I guess that's what happened with U2. And, I put up with years and years of hearing about Bono and, his arrogance, I guess. And I've never, overall, I still like the band. I still like the members of the band. I still kind of like their personalities. Is Bono arrogant or conceited sometimes? Yeah, he's a rock star. It's, when you have that kind of, when you're that famous, I think anybody, it's going to go to your heads, or you have to kind of keep it in check. So I've never had anything against any of the band members. And I really do think, I've seen them, just little clips of them with fans, and they're not doing it for the publicity. Somebody's just filming on their phone, and Bono especially is very personal with the fans and talking to them and seems to be interested in, in the conversation back and forth. So I think overall, he's a good guy. But I'm done with their music, especially their latest couple of albums. Just no interest in them anymore. So since I was a fan for 30 years, I, of course, still love a lot of their music. And even someday, I don't have any U2 albums anymore. I gave up on them. But, I wouldn't... Maybe someday I'll buy, The Unforgettable Fire on CD again. Who knows? So going through their discography of the albums that I knew very well, their first one, Bowie, in 1980, I loved. I Will Follow, Shadows and Tall Trees, Twilight, Out of Control. It was a great debut album, and, it still is. And overall, I would give it an A+. Then October came out, their second album, and I know that Bono had problems with the lyrics because they were stolen just before they're about to record. And you can kind of tell with the songwriting and all that it's not quite as strong as their debut album. The songs aren't as good, but still, some great songs on it. I Fall Down, Gloria, Is That All? And the production is not quite as strong either, I found, as on the debut. But overall, it's still a very good album. I would give it a B rating. War was next, their third album. Great songs, Sunday Bloody Sunday, Surrender, New Year's Day, Two Hearts Beat as One. Then some other songs that are they're okay, I guess. So overall, I would give it a B+. The Unforgettable Fire. Like I said, this was the first album I ever heard of theirs. And it is one of my favorites. It's probably my second favorite U2 album. The song, The Unforgettable Fire, is possibly my favorite U2 song. And then there's Wire and Bad, Indian Summer Sky. Even Elvis Presley in America, which is kind of U2's Revolution Number 9. A lot of U2 fans don't like it. It's very experimental and kind of weird. But I always loved it. And so the whole album is an A+ for me. The Joshua Tree. When that came out, that was huge back in the day. And of course I loved it right away. But the thing is, I also kind of got tired of it pretty quickly. And even today, if I was still a fan, I wouldn't play it very much. With or Without You, of course, is great, especially in concert. I still haven't found what I'm looking for, which reminds me of something.
And I still haven't found what I'm looking for. And I still haven't found.
Hi, hon.
Hi, hon. I'm not joking.
Anyway, One Tree Hill, Where the Streets Have No Name. Yeah, Trip Through Your Wires I didn't care for too much. But overall, yeah, it still is a great album, and I would give it a rating of A-. Then Rattle and Hum came out, and of course the movie. The first single from it, Desire, I've always disliked it. It's just, yeah, it's one of my least favorite U2 songs. But Silver and Gold, the live version on that is great. Heartland, When Love Comes to Town, and of course, All I Want Is You, which is like it's right near the top. If it's not number 2, it's number 3. It would definitely be in my top 10 U2 songs, or top 5. And overall, I would give Rattle and Hum, it's got some really cool live tracks too, I would give it a solid A. Octung Baby. My favorite U2 album. It was them at their pinnacle, I believe, and then after that they kind of started to decline, at least for me. Although I guess I wouldn't admit it at the time. Zoo Station, really original opening track. One, of course, is a classic. So Cruel, The Fly, Mysterious Ways, Ultraviolet, Light My Way, one of my favorite U2 songs. Lady with the Spinning Head, which was, there's a couple of B-sides I've listed here, and that was recorded around the same time. It's an awesome track. And yeah, the whole album is just very, very strong, and I give it an A+. Then Zooropa, which was, looking back, it was a disappointment. I loved Zooropa, the opening track. I hated Babyface, Numb with the Edge's vocals and that kind of a funny video with him. I enjoyed it. It was different, it was good. I was happy that they were kind of experimenting a bit. And I didn't care for Lemon. Stay Far, Far Away, So Close was great. The First Time was good. Some Days Are Better Than Others. And The Wanderer with Johnny Cash was kind of cool. Yeah, and then Daddy's Going to Pay for Your Crash Car. Like half of the songs were really good and the other half were just kind of mediocre. So I would give that album overall a B-. And then the really disappointing Pop. I loved Discotheque, the video with them dressed as the Village People, even though I know Larry Mullen Jr., you can even tell in the video he's kind of not too comfortable being dressed as one of the Village People. But I loved, like a overall serious band like U2, could make fun of themselves, and that's what they did in the video. And the song Discotheque is it's a fun track. But the rest of it, like Staring at the Sun, Miami, the Playboy Mansion, a lot of dull songs, and it's just, I know it has its fans, but for me, pop did not pop. And I give it a C. And then they kind of did come back a bit, at least for me, with All That You Can't Leave Behind, Beautiful Day, which was a big hit, Stuck in a Moment You Can't Get Out of, Kite, which is, it would be in my top 5 U2 songs of all time. But I disliked Grace and New York, which sounded a bit too much like Exit from the Joshua Tree, and Peace on Earth, your typical kind of lovey-dovey song by Bono. And Elevation it didn't seem to work in the studio, but when you would see it live, it did work. So just the studio version I didn't care for. So like I said, it had some really good songs though, so I would give it a solid B. Then How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb. I've seen U2 in concert twice, once on their Joshua Tree tour in Toronto at Exhibition Stadium, and they were like far away. It wasn't really that enjoyable of a concert because, the sound wasn't great, and like I said, you could see them on the big screen, but you might as well have stayed at home. And then I saw them on this tour in 2005 in Toronto. It was much, much better. They're pretty close up this time, and I really enjoyed it. And so yeah, that album, How to Dismantle an Atomic Bomb, had some great songs: Miracle Drug, Crumbs from Your Table, Vertigo, and Yahweh, the closing track, which is really nicely done live when they do it acoustically. But overall, it was a good album, but not a great album. I would give it a B. And then No Line on the Horizon, the opening track, No Line on the Horizon, I love. I still love. And Moment of Surrender, a couple of other really good songs. But I did not like I'll Go Crazy If I Don't Go Crazy Tonight, Get on Your Boots, White as Snow, Breathe. And this is when they started, the other thing that irked me, even then, was they started bringing all of these, hip producers like Will.i.am from Black Eyed Peas, and they were always kind of pushing to be current and hip and everything, and it just did not work for them. Like, Get on Your Boots. Even though, like, part of me hates the song, and then there's parts of the song that are so catchy that I kind of like it. But overall, I did not care for the album, and so I would give it a C. And the final album I ever bought, listened to it a couple of times, it was okay. Songs of Innocence. Every Break and Wave was really good. Cedarwood Road, The Troubles, but I'm not even going to rate it because I like I said, that's when they did the Apple thing, putting it on everybody's phones, the album, and I just gave up on them. And I noticed on Amazon, I was looking at their albums on Amazon, and their latest from 2017, I believe, Songs of Experience, it's not even on sale, and they're selling it for $7.69. So, yeah. That's my little rant. It's not even a rant, because like I said, there's a lot of U2 music that I love from, the first 30 years of U2, and it's pretty impressive that they've been together since 1980, and they're still, pretty popular, and they're, the music they've been creating the last few years, has no interest for me, but like I said, overall, I like them as individuals and as the band U2. It's just I don't follow their music anymore. So I would love your thoughts on you too, but also, like I said, bands or solo artists that you were a big fan of for years and years and years, and then just one day you said, I'm done. So thank you for watching, and have a great day.